Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and the Magnificent Miss Marvel. There's a tongue twister for you. Issue number 14. Damn. Anyway, so this is part of the Outlawed thing, and yeah, let's get talking about the comic book in general. I actually like this comic book. It was pretty good. But there's still some issues, not with the comic book, but with the Outlawed in a whole, and I think it really does need to be addressed. Let's get talking about this. So the writer is Saladin Ahmed, the artist is Minkyu Jung, the inker is Juan Velasco, and the color artist is Ian Herring. VC's Joe Caramagna on the letters, and the cover is by Edward Petrovic. Carlos Loud does the graphic design, and let's get talking about this badass book. So Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan, is asleep, knocked the hell out, and she wakes up at one point to see what's up on the TV, only to fall back into a slumber. Okay, that sounds very realistic to me. It genuinely does. It does. And she's able to, therefore, have dreams not just about what happened, but the consequences of what happened. So she's able to, it's like getting a little bit of information, but then having to rectify that information in your brain. Because, you know, that's what our dreams really are. We're trying to make sense of the world, right? In ways that we ourselves can comprehend. Which is why our dreams are great until we say them out loud. And it's like, well, that's stupid. God forbid you say it to somebody else. Like, wow, that's ridiculous. But hey, it makes sense to us somehow. So she starts having these arguments with herself, really, and the ghosts, so to speak, of the people who she feels responsible for. That's a big weight on the shoulders of, what is she, like 16? That's a lot of weight for 16-year-old shoulders or so. Wow. But, you know, she cares about her parents. She cares about what they think, even though they're basically in charge. Has anybody watched the playthroughs for the Marvel Avengers game that's out right now? Just came out last Friday, I believe. I got to see the ending of it, and it was it was pretty good, man. It's pretty good. Was it as good as this comic book? Yeah, probably a little bit more, because they really nailed that ending. They really nailed Kamala's part. Anyway, this did have its moments. At the same time, this was... Look, Chillmonger and I talked about this in the Comic Book University podcast that is available every Sunday morning everywhere you download your favorite podcasts. Cheap plug, enjoy it. And we talked about how Marvel, DC sucks, all right? But Marvel, they could have done this better. We could have still had comic books, albeit digital comic books, during the pandemic. We could have kept some stories at the very least going, and this should have been one of them. When you're in the middle of an event, you don't stop the event. You don't start a new event in the middle of a crisis like that, but you don't stop one either if you can help it. And we'd given, I mean, we're just laymen, but we'd given several suggestions how this could actually work, you know? Anyway, it's really freaking frustrating, genuinely frustrating how this actually panned out, but I guess it is what it is. Anyway, it would have definitely been a lot better if we could have gotten this book immediately, if we could have felt how meaningful this was, because I read this book and I'm just like, this should have more of an impact. It really should. But I'm trying to remember the incident itself in Champions #1 in order to be able to put myself back there. And the book just, it was slow to repeat those things. And if this book would have come out within the month of that book having been out, it wouldn't have been hard at all. But this, so late? Was there a reason for this book to be this late? I just don't think that there was a good reason. Let's give it that. You know what I'm saying? If you need to release issue 13 and 14 a week apart, do it in order for us to get this book to be able to understand it. Oh, man. So there was just a lot. I mean, like in the Miles Morales comic book, which was the only book that was actually carrying the Outlawed story at this point, which means that all of the weight has been on Saladin Ahmed this entire time. He's doing this book and the Miles Morales book. So everything's been on the Miles Morales side lately. Miles has already moved on. He can't be involved in Outlawed anymore because of what happened at the end of the most recent issue, which I just covered last week. So, I mean, that says a lot. It's like, now we show up. I guess she could have just been unconscious that entire time, but Miles is also in this book, so it's like, so when exactly does this take place? And Marvel just really... Look, here's my ball. Oops, I dropped it. Yeah, you dropped the ball on this one, brah. You dropped it. Pick it up. I think that the best thing that could possibly happen, however, is that we don't wind up getting that stupid freaking New Warriors book because, my God, in fact, we just absolve ourselves completely of Daniel Kibblesmith and recognize that he is simply not what comic books need. He's just not. He's not what we need in comic books right now. So just, sorry, thank you. Come again in like 2 years, but your services will not be needed right now. Best luck in all your future comic book endeavors, because no. I don't know, man. This was a good book. It was a good book. It was just one of those books that was really good. It would have been better if we had it sooner. It's just, it feels like it's a little bit too late for this book. Too little too late. I don't know. Anyway, guys. You know what I would recommend? I like to every so often recommend a song that, especially in this particular case, I think even people my age, there are a lot of people who have never heard this song. Courtney Love, she had this band called Hole. Don't leave just yet. Relax. I know there's people my age just like, she's the Yoko Ono of Nirvana. Yeah, I don't think Nirvana was that damn good to begin with in the first place, but hey, that's just me. I do believe that her song Letter to God, though, was one of the best songs that came out that year and probably the year before and after it, because it was just really impactful, really good. So Letter to God by Hole, by Courtney Love. Go and check that out. Read that book. Read this book while you're listening to that song, because that song was just purely in my head. About 3 pages into this book, I couldn't get that song out of my head. So, in fact, I think I'm going to go listen to that song now. So, the next comic book review will probably be delayed. Anyway, guys, I'll talk to you all later. Like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.